Good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
Oh, that microphone sounds great today.
That's because I got it right up to my mouth.
All right. There's going to be no doubt what you're saying today.
Let's re-roll the tape. I got things to add, especially when it comes to signs on the freeways.
Oh, yeah.
Is that going to be an issue?
Uh,
Is Freddie coming?
Freddie is not coming.
Okay.
You're talking about the BP sign?
I'm talking about the billboard sign.
We don't have a billboard sign on today.
You sure? I thought Casey had that on today.
It's not on my agenda. If it's been added, I didn't know about it. The only sign we have is a pole sign for West 150th that I'm aware of.
Yeah, maybe I'm confusing him then.
Hopefully, I'm not missing something.
Hopefully not. Maybe I just read it wrong. Maybe it's a sign. I know that it's a big sign.
Yeah.
The first one that we have for a postponement.
Yes, West 98th Street.
Yeah, what the hell is that about?
I have no idea.
No, this is a ticket for garbage, I think. And so it's like a bank in Pennsylvania. It's buying the land, or maybe they're the mortgager. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just there's nothing on that lot. It's a vacant lot. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Makes me wonder they're selling it. That's why I'm wondering if they're trying to get out of paying the fine, because once they sell it, then it's not their problem anymore.
Right. Yeah, that I don't know. I was actually anxious to get this one on the agenda so we could hear exactly what's going on with it. And of course, we don't vote on or we don't give our opinion on those kinds of cases anyway. So.
Right. But I mean, I don't think this is going to go like automatic postponement. Not for me, it ain't.
Right. Well, it's postponed now. I don't. The attorney for the case requested a postponement.
He asked for a postponement. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go grab another cup of coffee, so I'll be gone for a couple minutes, and I'll be right back.
Got it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you this morning, Maurice?
I am doing good. How are you?
Hanging tough, baby, hanging tough.
All right. Way to go. Got all your Christmas shopping done?
Yeah, green goes with everything. When the grandkids get to be, 29, 28, 27, 20,
Yeah.
that's all they want because I don't have the same taste that they do.
Right. Especially if they don't live by you, it's
Yeah,
really hard to
no.
know what they really need or want. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I got them in California, in Denver, and in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Mr. Rubens?
Yes.
Sorry, sir.
Hi, how you doing? Good morning.
Did I hear the West 98 daycare was continued? Did I hear that right?
No, I don't think the daycare was. The West 98th Street violation.
Oh, it's something different. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's odd that we have two on West 98th Street today.
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Carol, do you have a billboard on the agenda for today?
Hang on.
'Cause I don't, and I wonder if I have the wrong agenda here.
Yeah, I do. On 150th? Yes.
No, that's a pole sign. That's not a billboard.
Oh,
Okay. Well, I see Councilman Casey, so I wasn't sure if it was that the billboard.
No, even though I have a tendency of being weeks early on that billboard, I'm here about the sign on 150.
Okay. Because Tim was saying he thought the billboard was on today, and I was not prepared to deal with that today. So I'm happy I don't have the wrong agenda.
no, it's just the sign, 150th. Are you saying that the violation notice on 98th is going to be postponed
Yes, ma'am.
because of?
The attorney for the case requested.
Carol, I think that's they're requesting a postponement.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think it should be deliberated on.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, this is Chief Bartley with regard to that 98 property. I'm here. It's going to be liberated, I say. If not, then I'm going to go.
Somebody's microphone is way staticky.
We were getting a lot of feedback. If that was Mr. Bartley speaking, I did not catch that.
Is any better? I'm Maurice. This is Chief Bartley. Is that any better?
I'm having trouble understanding. There's a lot of echo or something going on.
It looks like he may be the source.
Yes.
Is that any better?
A little bit.
Either way, I'm here for the violation on West 98 illegal use. If it's going to be postponed, then I will leave the meeting. If it's going to be deliberated, I will stay.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Hey, good morning. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I heard you say the violation for West 98 is postponed.
There is a request for postponement. It would be up to the board whether they grant it or not. We haven't started yet, so.
Okay, gotcha. Who do you know who requested it or?
I believe the attorney representing the applicant, John, Ms. Kukla, you have the data on that for the West 98th. I can't remember the gentleman's name. The attorney requested a postponement.
Good morning. Good morning,
At this
everyone.
point, we should just hold off till we start the hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just hold off. We'll be starting in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Wow, we have a trifecta of councilmen this morning.
They all want their Christmas present. Who are you kidding?
I have my Christmas present. I'm wearing my brown tie.
Yeah, that's a great present
Oh, there you go.
after last night.
I'm telling you, we're going to win the Super Bowl because we're not going to be able to have a parade.
That would be our luck, wouldn't it?
That's about right.
Good morning, all, and happy holidays.
Good morning, Miss Barnes.
Oh, there's 3 of us. Let's see, where's no Kelly, no Marlene. I mean, no Alana.
Liz, was everybody coming? Was everybody attending today, as far as you know?
Yeah, I was getting ready to check that right now, to see if I got anything in the last half hour or so. Hold on a minute.
We got Bill Bartley up here twice now.
Yeah, I see that. That might be the problem with the microphone. As long as one of the microphones stays muted, it should be okay.
Hey, Marissa Flora, do you have me on mute?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'll put myself on mute now.
And good morning.
Right, I didn't receive anything from any of the board members. I think they should all be here. Usually they give me an email if they're not gonna be here, so.
It's 9:30. It's 9:30. I'd like to start.
That's up to you, Madam
We
Chair.
have 3 board members.
We have 3 of us. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to call a meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order on this Monday, December the 21st. Go ahead, Ms. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble this morning. In compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law under COVID-19 emergency declaration, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you, and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Next slide, Maurice. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Well, we need a roll call, Liz.
Thank you. Mr. Donovan,
Here.
Ms. Barnes,
Ms. Barnes is here.
Do we have Ms. Faith? Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes,
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
thank you very much. I've heard from Maurice that we have a postponement of West 98th, a request for it. We've not,
Yes, Madam
request.
Chair. Yeah, it's a request from the attorney for the appellant. John Monroe has requested a postponement. I believe they're working on a sheriff's sale situation and need more time for that to happen. And they're looking for March or April.
Madam Chair, I just have a little confusion as to what our issue has to do with that particular item. I mean, this is a trash violation notice?
No, it's not.
No,
Oh, okay. What is it?
I was just informed by Carolyn Downey from the law department that this was a violation notice issued by Building and Housing.
Okay.
They've established a use without a certificate of occupancy. So they're working with the city. The city is aware of the request for postponement, and I haven't heard any opposition. Again, they are working with Ms. Downey as well. I don't know if Mr. Bartley is the inspector on this case, if he had any.
Madam Chair, I just got an email from Carolyn Downey from the law department. And she says that the law department does not object to a postponement for this case.
thank you.
Well, Madam Chair, given the recent testimony, I would then move that we would grant the postponement requested here.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Give us a date to call the roll, Ms. Kukla.
Oh, you're not going to call the roll. Okay, thank you. Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes? Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes. And what date?
So, Madam Chair, if you'd like the end of March, that would be March 29th, or the beginning of April is April 5th.
Where did you come up with those dates? Why do we have to go so long?
They've requested to March or April. So I thought the end of March or the beginning of April would be. I gave you those dates at their request.
Okay. None of those are Easter time, are they?
April 5th is the day after Easter.
Okay. Unless the board has any questions, I'll do April 5th.
Without objection.
Okay. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Moving right along.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving right along. I'll start reading these. Hold on. Let me put my glasses on. Calendar 20-196 at 4161 West 150. Oh my gosh, I printed out Miss Wagner's instead of.
I can read it, Madam Chair, if you'd like me to jump in.
Thank you. I can't.
Calendar 20-196 regarding 4161 West 150th Street. 4161 West 150th Street LLC owner proposes to erect 145 square foot pole sign in a general industry zoning district. Owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the sections of the Cleveland Codified Ordinance as posted on the agenda and in the public record.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, everyone for this case, kindly raise your right hand. I'm going to make a statement. At the end of that statement, I'm going to ask that you reply with the two simple words, I do, and your name. And here we go. Anyone for this case on West 150th. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Name?
Brian Casey.
Okay. Chuck Smith. I do in your name, please.
Dustin James. I do, and I Dustin James.
Okay.
Fred Davenport.
I do. Anyone else? Okay, it sounds like we got them all.
Thank you very much. History of the property, please.
Madam Chair, if I may excuse myself, this is Alana. We've had a power outage, but I'm now on by audio only.
Oh, welcome, Alana.
Thank you.
Okay, and Chuck is in for the building and housing too. Good morning, everybody. Madam Chair.
I didn't hear who that was.
That was Chuck Acoy from Building and Housing, I believe, standing in for Rick Riccardi, correct?
Okay, good morning, Chuck. Okay.
Good morning.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, if we could, for the record, if I believe Dustin James might be representing the owner, could we get that confirmation, please?
Yes, I'm representing BP, the sign. So yes, I'm representing the owner.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In the records room, I found that in 1966, a permit was issued to demolish an office and auto repair building. 1977, a permit was issued to erect a gas station and steel canopy. In 1981, a permit was issued to move office to mid-area and use same as self-serve station and mini mart. Also, in that same permit, a permit was issued to erect a single-face ID sign, 2.5 by 4 feet, and also to install a 2 by 7 ID sign on the canopy. There are no variances on file, and in the more recent history, I found a permit was issued in 2007 to install electrical in a car wash and install electric snow melt cables. There was a signage permit issued in 2008 to install 2 3 by 5 wall signs and replace sign faces. A permit was issued to store hazardous substance on the site. And sorry, that date was 2011. 2014, there were alterations to a convenience store. And later in 2014, a permit was issued for signage. One sign for a 7-Eleven store, that would be 76.75 square feet. One for a city bank, approximately 12 square feet. And I believe that might be all that we have, Madam Chair. That's it. Back to you.
Wow. Okay, the legal standard we'll be judging the case on, please, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the sign requirements of the zoning code. To obtain area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Dustin, how are you related to the BP? You said you're representing them?
Yes, Madam Chair. I work for the sign company and I do the permitting at our company for the signage we install. And so that's how I arrived here.
Okay, does that mean that big sign that was on the screen before is coming down?
I'm trying to see what screen. Oh, here we go.
Okay, the top right.
Yes, the existing one.
Yes.
Yes, it'll be coming down.
Got a hell of a lot of signs around there, though. Pardon my French. You probably heard it before. Okay. Okay, tell us about this sign.
So this sign is a little bit oversized for the maximum square feet. 100 is the max square footage for the sign. We're proposing 145. The reason for that part of the addition, and is I believe Liz was going through. The station started growing. They added the car wash and different things, 7-Elevens inside. Looking at the digital pricers, they're a little larger in size, the digital pricers. So that adds some of the square foot to it. Then they added a diesel digital pricer that is different than the original pole sign that was there. So they have the addition of the new diesel pricer with the larger LED pricer in general, and then the addition of the 7-Eleven. It just starts adding up. And the one picture shows, I'm not sure if that's the best one, there's one from Street View that shows more of the landscaping that's going on around the base of the sign, and they felt that this would give them the height and better visibility for as part of the hardship, just better visibility of being able to catch people coming off the freeway. And I think that's 154th as they come up to that intersection, they'd be able to see it better than the sign that's installed right now.
How tall is this sign? You flip through the things.
I'm going back. I was looking for the slide he was talking about, but I don't see a slide with landscaping.
Oh boy, I have it in front of me. It might not have came through. It's just the original state of the sign. It blocks the bottom off to where you can't see some of the advertising for the car wash and then what type of gas they have. That was the reason they thought they'd be able to. I'm not sure how they didn't include it, and I apologize for that. I'm not sure if I have it here. I have it here. I'm not sure if this helps.
So the sign is what, 30 feet high? Or?
The one we're proposing, Mr. Chairman, is 30 feet, correct.
And what is there now?
In there, I did not affirm it. I believe it's 20 feet right now, I believe.
Well,
Oh, jeez.
if it gets any higher, it'll block the billboard.
Yeah. It's going to be above the wires there.
Adam, have you been able to do an inventory? I mean, there's a lot of different references to different signage products that were rattled off there by Ms. Kukla. And I know, I think we have different regulations for total amount of signage width and feet any one place can have. Has this gone through that kind of analysis to figure out how many signs that we got on the whole premise here?
It has not, because this is outside of one of our design review districts, actually. So normally I would see some new signs being proposed if they were inside one of these districts, but it's actually outside of it. So the only interaction I've had with it was, I saw it on the agenda last week, basically.
If you add 10 more feet onto the sign on this lower right-hand picture that I'm looking at, you're going to be in front of the billboard there.
It might be just an angle that the picture's taken at. It'll be up higher. I would not see it blocking the billboard, but I can see from that picture that it would look to be so. But yeah, but I would say that it would still not take away from the billboard. It would be underneath it for sure, but not blocking what it's advertising. No.
I don't know if we've ever given a 30-foot sign for a gas station. Board, any comments?
Madam Chair, we do have.
It makes you wonder if you didn't approach this in more of a digital format. You could have all of these strips of information that could follow one another. Rather than have a bigger sign, you just have a sign that has like chapters of a book where you're turning pages, and those pages are digital. Subway, digital car wash, digital. So you see what I'm saying? You shrink the whole face of the sign, but because you digitalize part of it, you'll still be able to get the same information.
Yes, I see what you're saying. I'm not sure that's how BP does their brand with their other signs like that. I haven't seen one, but it's a very good idea. That's for sure.
Why don't we send you back, and we'd love to be the first case where they decide to do something different.
Innovative here in Cleveland. Perfect. The councilman's here from.
Councilman Casey is here, yes.
Let's hear from him.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman. Just like Mr. Davenport, the reason I'm here this morning is because I saw this on the agenda last week, and this is the first I'm seeing any proposal for any type of sign, and have not heard from anybody who's involved in attempting to change this sign.
Okay, I think Mr. Donovan's suggestion is to step back, take time out and go back to BP and just see if we can't get something different up there without having to make this sucker another 10 feet higher.
Okay, is there any way that the board would be in favor of, it says that it was 30 feet high is what we're proposing, 25 is the max height allowed. If we can get that thing down to the max height which is allowed but still be over the square footage of advertising on there, would that be something that we could work with?
Tim, I'm going to yield to you, Mr.
Standard maximum, it'd be 45 square feet, 45 more than what's permitted is what
I would want Adam representing a city to basically be the negotiator here, not me. I think he's got more standing in terms of what his role with the city is. So I would not jump in. I have a suggestion. I wouldn't want to be the guy trying to make the deal here. I think Adam's more equipped for that. So Adam, it's up to you. Do you want to, you heard his proposal. You want to react to it? You want to say, let's put that in the basket and we'll take a timeout and that'll be one of the things we think about, or what?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've seen it, so I would like to, and it seems like it's the first time the councilman's seen it also, so I would like to take a timeout also. I mean, we generally don't support monument sign or pole signs in general, so that's kind of a non-starter, but I think a reevaluation of the square footage we can talk about. I'm not sure what the overage is or what the requirement is, so we can look at it and evaluate.
Madam Chair, I can just reiterate what the overages are. They're going 45 square feet larger than the total area that's permitted. So they're proposing 145. The code allows 100. And the maximum height is 25 allowed by code, and they're going an extra 5 feet above what's provided by code. But as you pointed out, 10 feet above what's there now.
Yeah, I really think you need to go back to the drawing board with your people, Dustin, and just.
Madam Chair, we also have Alana Faith with her hands raised.
Okay, Alana.
Madam Chair, I was able to sign in on the app, so I have a visual of the sign. I'm in agreement with everyone suggesting that they go back and rethink this. It seems to me that this is a test of the BP logo, and in that it seems to me that they might be able to reduce the logo size and perhaps the font size of the subway text and bring the sign closer into zoning specifications.
Yeah, because that's a congestion right there on 150th. So.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Dustin, do you understand we would like to postpone? Where did you go?
I'm here.
Get him a date.
Okay, Mrs. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does Mr. Davenport believe he could turn this around relatively quickly? We could put it on January 11th.
You got holidays in there.
Mm-hmm. So January 25th is filling up with the first week in
February.
Yeah.
That give you enough time, Dustin and Alan?
Fine for me. I don't. Yeah, I'd have to reach back to the customer. I don't see a problem though. I don't see any problem.
Okay.
That's February 1st, Madam Chair.
That's February 1st?
Yes.
Without objection, board?
Without objection.
Without objection.
Without objection.
Without objection. Thank you. Oh, okay. Have a wonderful holiday. Get working.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You folks as well. Thank you.
Okay. Calendar 20-197 at 1222 West 65th Street. Ms. Faith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar number 20-197 at 1222 West 65th Street. Joe Gramp, owner, proposes to erect a 27-foot by 45-foot four-story frame single-family residence with a detached one-story garage in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much. Tim?
Everyone for this case, kindly raise your right hand. I'm going to make a statement at the end of which I'm looking for a response of I do, followed by your name. Here we go. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do, Wes Hart.
I do, Al Davenport.
Anyone else?
You should have the owner, Joe Gramps, with us.
I do, Joe Gramps.
On cue. All right, anyone else that we forgot? Hearing none, let's move it forward.
Okay, history of the property, please, Mrs. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was originally zoned general industry in 1929. In the records room, I found that the zoning was changed in 2011 to the current two-family district. In the records room, I found a permit was issued in 1891 to erect a dwelling. And in 1919, a garage was erected on the property. 1932, a permit was issued to erect a garage. 1972, a permit was issued for a basket weave fence on the property. 1983, a permit was issued to erect a chain link fence. There are no variances on file, and in the more recent history, we found that in 2005, a vacant lot cleanup fee was assessed to the property and paid. That's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from distance, front yard setback, and maximum gross floor area requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Please note that section 32904C of the zoning code places some limitations on the board's ability to grant front yard setback variances.
Is Wes going to be the spokesperson for this case?
I am, Madam Chair, yes.
Okay, tell us exactly what you'd like to do.
Okay, so we are looking to build a single-family house on the site. I've been working with Mr. and Mrs. Gramps to design and get this project through the process. They purchased the parcel earlier this year, and so we've been working through that process. Now, the variances that we're looking for are pretty typical outside of the front yard setback that I'd like to discuss. The home itself is 2 stories in its profile from West 65th Street. It'll be clad in brick and have a rooftop deck with lake and downtown views. So the client is looking to move into this house. His family, of course, they are expecting next year. So this would be a home that, a place where children will be raised, and the need for a backyard is critical for us. And so, the area variance or the buildable ratio lot is a pretty typical variance, I think, for this area. It's really just been the front yard variance that's kind of thrown us for a loop here. And the reason that the front yard variance has been listed as one by the building department is Maurice, I don't know if we could go to the site plan that you had from Google or Bing. I'm not sure where that was from.
Which one do you want?
Just the first, the overall aerial that you had earlier before this.
Sure. That one?
Yes. So the front yard in this case is determined by the average setback of 100 feet in each. Typically, I thought that it was strictly a 15% setback across the board. That is apparently not the case. You can see that the context directly to our south is single family. And basically the average of those homes is give or take 20 to 22 feet. The fly in the ointment here is the building directly to our north, which is roughly a 60 or 70 foot setback of an abandoned warehouse or industrial building. So that has caused our required setback to be 40 feet, which we just think is not logical relative to the existing residential context south and negatively impacts our ability to build what we need here. So my take on it is that this commercial structure, is it really a primary structure that would be included in the calculation of the front yard setback? It's clearly leaving a 0 foot setback in the rear of its parcel. And so our argument is that this is kind of a secondary building on this lot, which kind of negates it from the calculation. So we've been working with Adam Davenport on this issue, and we just wanted to present that to you, a conversation piece for this. Recognize that front yard setbacks are not something that the Board of Zoning Appeals can approve. But we think that considering this structure to not be a primary structure on the site kind of presents a different argument. So I'd like to hear the board's thoughts on that.
Do we know if there was ever a house on the corner?
Historically, I'm not sure. There are 2 parcels north of us, which is to the right. So we've got one parcel with this industrial structure, and there's a city land bank structure parcel north of that. The warehouse is not long for this world to begin with. It's owned by a developer that we have done work with in the past, and the intent is to demolish this and have a larger project of scale here. This is through the Far West Design Review. Were approved as currently drawn. So this zoning notice of non-conformance has really kind of thrown us for a loop here.
Yeah, it doesn't have a roof anymore in parts, it looks like, so it's ready to go.
Yes.
So how would you change the setback given the certain circumstances we're talking about today? Is that an act of legislation by council that says, hey, we found an instance here where there's a setback standard that's just, it doesn't fit. It's not comprehensible, really.
We would, if we're unable to attain, I guess, or eliminate the front yard setback today in our conversation, we have to go to council for a mapped setback. And Adam, I defer to your commentary on that, but that's something we've discussed.
Just tell me again, this is Carol speaking, that the way it's drawn now, is it equal with that yellow house next door? The front setback?
Yes.
It would be.
Yes.
Okay, it's just because of that building to the north of you, I guess, is the problem.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
That brings it to simple, words that I can understand. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and
Madam Chair, this current drawing pretty much shows that they're lined up with the house to the south, and it's the north building of that commercial structure.
Right.
That's the problem.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, Wesley.
No, that's what I needed to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I would say the proposed site plan is the 15% setback, which is, I think we'd all agree, the more typical determination for front yard setback. And the average of the homes to the south is give or take that 15%, a foot here, a foot there.
Madam Chair, maybe we should hear from Lori Wagner if she has any, from the law department, if she has any additional take. I would point out that from my perspective, and I think Adam's as well, we fully support this house. It's been through HDRS. It doesn't really make any sense to have this house back at 40 feet or even 37 or anything less than 21 feet. But this is one of those cases where the rules of the Board of Zoning Appeals kind of tie our hands. And maybe, Lori, is there a way that we could grant this?
Well, as we discussed at our staff meeting, at least I was confused about the seemingly different standards for setbacks. In one case, it talks about 15%, and in the other case, it's talking about the average. And we weren't really sure why Building and Housing was applying one setback and not the other. Maybe Building and Housing could comment on that.
Yes, we do have Chuck Okoye here today.
Okay, give me a minute, please. Let me take a look at
I can tell you that basically what Lori is asking is why was the standard from 357.06A applied as opposed to the standard of 357.05A?
That's what I'm looking at right now. I believe we have two standards that regulates that.
Because Wesley is correct.
One says 15%, and the other one says something about height. That's what I'm trying to look up for you.
And Wesley is within the 15% setback that is normally applied.
Yeah.
I would say legally, if there's some ambiguity in the code as far as which standard applies, that generally should be resolved in favor of the property owner being free to.
Madam Chair, we have Adam Davenport as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide a couple more context items. So Father Frascati, Maurice, if you go back to the aerial, is if you don't know the area, that's the entrance. That's one of the pedestrian entrances to Edgewater Park. So that warehouse is essentially looking at the lake. I mean, it's more fuel, I guess, for an obvious kind of demolition in the future. Like this is definitely not going to last long. It will definitely be eliminated. And so whatever new housing is put on that site will probably also include that city land bank lot to the north as well, abutting Father Caruso. And it will probably be, a dense development that has similar setbacks to the townhouses that you see in kind of the top of the picture. So it would be, this new house, if it were built at 40 feet back, would actually sit behind like any new development on the neighboring sites as well.
Fine.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
This is Liz.
Chuck was going to speak.
I'll defer to Chuck.
Chuck?
Yep, I'm on that chapter of the code right now. Yes, it has two standards, which one has to rule, which the examiner picked the 40 feet, which supersedes the 1 or 15%. It says here, the average of the setback of the existing building within 100 feet on both sides of any lot shall determine the location of the required front yard line for that lot, except that such a front yard line shall not be required to be more than 40 feet setback of the street. The location, okay, that's it. Here in this section of the code, 40 feet supersedes the 1 or 2 percentage. So it's left for the body to decide on this case.
Excuse me, Marlene, I think you have to mute your microphone. We're getting a lot of noises.
Oh my God.
I wonder if I was heard or if I made my point clear.
There was a lot of background noise. I did not hear exactly what you said. I'm sorry if you could either repeat it or type it into the chat. That
Why
would.
did he choose the one standard over the other? The examiner chose a standard, right?
We have two standards here.
I know that.
The 15%, the 20%, and the 40 feet setback. And on this section of the code, the 40% supersedes the 20%.
Supersedes it for what reason?
Just there is no specific the code. That's what the code mentioned. It didn't say why that was like that.
This is Lori Wagner again. As I said, if there's some kind of conflict here, generally you give the benefit of the doubt to the property owner. In this case, particularly since the obvious setback for houses on that street is the 15%, and the other building, which is about to be torn down, is an abnormality, it would seem to me from a legal perspective that it would make more sense to give the benefit of the doubt in interpreting the code to follow the 15% standard that all the other houses on the street are following.
I'm with you, Laurie. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, this is Liz Kukla. The question also is, would the fact that this seems to be an accessory building regarding the warehouse, we don't know for sure. If you wanted me to, I could research that parcel address and get back to you. But that could be another factor that it seems that the warehouse is an accessory building and not the main building.
I'd go to the corner lot. Where was the house situated on the corner? If it lines up with the rest of them on the other side of that house, it appears to me that the odd man out is the warehouse, obviously. I see an apron.
They're not lined up with the warehouse.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I think the parcel ends before it gets to the warehouse.
Right.
So I think the house on the corner is probably more in line with the established houses to the south. And therefore, I think that's the rationale that you don't rule the setback distance.
Yes, I'm with you, Tim. Any other comments, board? And somebody named Joe or John was sworn in?
Madam Chair, we have Alana Faith with her hand raised.
Okay, Alana.
We can't hear you.
Alana.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. My comment is that I'm in agreement with Lori's assessment and also Tim's, that it seems to me it makes more sense to sort of follow the precedent that the other houses, are the norm and the warehouse is the exception.
Right. Any other comments? Did Joe, I think he was the owner, going to be the owner of what?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Any comments you'd like to make?
No, I obviously, Wes and I feel kind of the same way. We feel that what we've proposed fits in line to match that of all the residential houses in the neighborhood. And, definitely pushing the setback to 40 feet places an undue burden on, our development plans and restricts our use of the land significantly.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Joe. We wish you well. Any other comments, board members?
We have Kelly Britt.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I just want to know how, Maurice, can you go back to how it's written up? Because how do we formulate this if essentially we can't grant? These really get on my nerves. Essentially,
all of us.
Yeah, I don't know why we get them when we can't do anything about them. It's really a frustrating situation. And so how is this worded? It's essentially we can't grant front yard setbacks, but it's proven that it's in the 15%. Like, I get a headache every time we get one of these, so.
Well, we are allowed to grant them. There's a formula there that, that mathematical, you have to know geometry to do it.
Yeah.
And I think what we've done is we've taken a broader perspective on this particular case because of the circumstances. I mean, it's one piece of property. It's obviously zoned much differently than all the residential. And again, if you put that house on the corner, and I bet you did that mathematical formula, you'd come up with the fact that you could do it.
This is Lori Wagner. Can I make a comment in response to Kelly's question? I think in this case, the proper legal way to approach this is to overrule the decision of the building and housing inspector to apply the rule that requires a 40-foot setback and instead indicate that the rule that requires a 15-foot setback should have been applied, and therefore, with that as a basic background, you aren't violating the provision of the code that doesn't allow you to grant a front yard setback variance. You're just saying that it was error to apply the other standard.
So, Madam Chair, just let me just concur with Lori Wagner and tell you that would be Section 357.04A is the section of the code that specifies the 15-foot setback rule. So that's what you would say that you would be overruling. If I understand Lori's comments correctly, you'd be overruling what Building and Housing came up with and applying a different standard to the development. Correct, Ms. Wagner?
Yes, that is correct.
Thanks, Lori. Maurice from City Planning, is Shannon here today or no?
She is not.
Okay, then let's
And
hear.
of course, yes, we agree with that 100%. We are full support of this project, and to our thinking, it makes no sense to have a house set back 40 feet on that street when everything else is at about 20 feet. Plus, as Mr. Harper has stated, the property to the north is going to be redeveloped, and you would not want to have one house sitting at 40 feet and everything else wants to be up close to the street, which is, what city planning always prefers. So yes, we are 100% in support of this.
Thank you. I should have relayed to Adam, but
Sorry.
He's waving at me, so fine.
It was telepathically telling me what to say, so.
Okay, fine. Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, given the testimony and support from City Planning as well as it's gone through design review, I move that we approve the variances as requested for calendar number 20-197, noting that section 34102 we can give, as well as the board has decided to overrule the original 40% front setback standard and will apply the 15% front setback standard.
And that is 351.04A.
Yes.
So we can have the specific in the record. Okay.
Actually, it's 357.04A is the correct is the one that you're specifying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've corrected. Thank you.
Second.
I second.
Okay. Call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-197 is granted. We will ratify it when we meet next time in January, and we will send you a letter.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Calendar 20-199 at 3139 West 98th Street. Go ahead, Ms. Faith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Calendar number 20-199 at 3139 West 98th Street. Abduli Mohammed, owner, proposes to establish use as a daycare in a C1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Okay, everyone for this case? Raise your right hand. I'm gonna make a statement at the end of which I'm looking for responses that say, I do, and your name. Here we go. This is for the case on West 98th Street. Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do. Abdullahi Muhammad.
I do. Adam Davenport.
I do, Paul Began.
I do, Brian Mooney.
Anyone else?
Chad.
I believe Chad, Chad had his hand up earlier. Chad, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Chad Dasher.
Okay.
I do.
I do.
Okay.
All right. Take it away.
History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1920.
Okay, somebody better mute their mic. Go ahead.
Thank you. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In the records from I found in 1900, a permit was issued to erect a single-family dwelling. 1932, a permit was issued to erect a garage. There are no variances on file. And in the more recent history, we see that in 2013, a permit was issued to board up 5 standard size windows and 1 rear door. And then in 2018, a permit was issued to make interior, exterior alterations per rehab plan to correct a condemnation notice. And then in 2020, this year, in September of this year, a permit is pending currently to make an egress window out of the basement and renovate the basement. That's all that I had, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wagner?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting an area variance from the distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Who's going to be, Mr. Muhammad, are you going to be the spokesperson?
Yeah, I'll speak, and then I have Paul who's representing me as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Tell us exactly what you'd like to do.
yeah, so my wife and I are trying to have an in-home daycare in our property. So I need a zoning approval, and then I also need this is all for the application for the daycare that's goes through the county. So there are a couple of things that I need approved from the city. So when I applied for the zoning, it got denied, I think, because of the house that's adjacent isn't 15 feet apart from the house, from my house. So that's the reason it got denied. But if you, I think whoever's controlling the slide, if you go to the next slide, I can kind of go into more detail of exactly what I'm trying to do as far as, the daycare. So that right there, where it says first floor, that's our entrance to from the front from the front of the house. So I'm thinking of using that area to hold toddlers. So mainly the daycare is going to be having toddlers and preschool. So I'm using that area to have toddlers. And then if you look at the basement plan, the basement I'm thinking of using that area to hold preschool as well. So the type of daycare I'm going for is a type A, which it allows up to 12 children. It can be less, but it allows up to 12, which I feel like I have, most definitely I have enough space for that. If you go back to the previous slide of the site plan. Thank you. Yes. So in my backyard, I have a good enough or good sized backyard where I can have a play area right there, right where next to the car is at, and then I have a basketball court that's over there as well. So I feel like this plan that my wife and I are proposing would most definitely work. The only issue as far as the zoning is the fact that there isn't 15 feet between my house and my neighbor's house.
Do you live in this house, Mr. Muhammad?
Yes, I do.
And you live on the second floor only?
Yes.
Is there a kitchen up there?
There's a kitchen, yes. Where, on the second floor?
Uh-huh.
No. The kitchen is on the first floor.
So you're using both floors?
No, I'll mainly be using the basement and the first floor.
No, but for your own living experience, you've got to use
Yeah,
the
living. I'll be upstairs on the second floor.
But you have no kitchen up there, you said.
No, I don't.
Okay, so you're coming down to the first floor.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think this house is big enough for 12 kids.
I'll be holding up to 12. It won't necessarily be 12, but I think it's a good. I think the size it'll fit. And as far as the kitchen, I mean, like I've seen. I have a friend of mine that has an in-home daycare, and like as far as the kitchen use, I've never seen where it requires that there has to be a kitchen or two kitchens, primarily for the daycare use or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, it is an in-home daycare, so
that's sorry, sir. I don't think that's what Madam Chair is getting at. Normally, Maurice, can you go back to the aerial? So normally, as a Board of Zoning Appeals, we kind of struggle with granting type A in residential areas because it makes it a business, which increases, the traffic and, pick up and drop off for, the residents surrounding you. As far as the proximity to the house next door, I see that that's something you can't control. The house was built that way, so that's something you can't. But I know as the board, we kind of discussed granting a type A in a residential area when you do a type B without even coming to us. So I don't know if any of the board wants to discuss this further.
Madam Chair, this is Paul Began. If you give me a moment here to, I'm the architect for Mr. Muhammad, and wanted to talk about a few other things for this particular case. One, as you know, the type A daycare, it is licensed by the state and controlled by the state. So the state would have to come in and do an inspection of the property, and they would make the determination on the number based on the size of the house, how many students would be able to be there. I do understand your concern for it being a smaller house and the number of students in there, but as a completely regulated entity, there would be inspections, regular inspections, not by the city, by the licensing board for this daycare. Number two, I think this is actually a benefit to the neighborhood. I've seen a lot of these, again, in more densely residential areas. This is in a section of the city between Lorraine and 90. There's half a dozen houses there. There's 6 houses there. Directly across the street from this, I don't know if we got a larger area plan, is the West Shore Neighborhood Family Service Center and Cuyahoga County Employment Services. So imagine directly across the street, there are people that are coming for job training, who are unemployed or coming for additional family services, that, hey, we need a place for our children to hang out while we're doing our job training. Directly across the street, actually, I think this is an ideal location for one. And obviously, as you can see, too, directly to the south, this is a commercial property. So it's really only the residential property adjacent to the north. And again, there's only 6 houses. This is really an access road to 90 right here. And there's a few houses left on here. So I think taking a look at the neighborhood more, a little bit wider than just, hey, what's right next door, I think is probably worthwhile looking at for this particular case.
Thank you, Paul.
Can I ask a question again? What are the ages of the people, of the kids?
Toddler, so 1 to 3, and then preschool, like 3, 4, up to 5.
Okay. And how you're looking at 12 kids tops?
Tops, but I don't necessarily know I'm gonna have 12 kids, because a lot of the people that I know that's looking for daycare is mostly like my sisters and a couple of family members that I know.
Do you currently run any type B?
No, I
daycare?
don't.
Have
You
you
said,
ever
do I?
done that? Yeah.
No, I've never.
You mentioned you had a basketball court in your backyard, and I'm thinking a 3-year-old can't play basketball that well usually.
I know. Yeah, no. The hoop is adjustable, so I can bring it all the way down. And there's grass area right before the basketball hoop where I can have toys and multiple things they'll be able to play with as well.
Do you have a plan that shows drop off pickup?
I don't, but if you go back to my site plan, yeah, if you see, because my garage is further away from the house. So what I'm planning on doing is having the parents dropping off the children, pull all the way in, and then I also have a back door entrance in the back, so they'll be coming through there.
So they have to be coming in and out though, the same driveway, right?
Yes. Yeah. So most likely, I mean, it'll be hopefully, coincidentally, not 2 parents are dropping off at the same time. If they are, one can park, in the bank as the other one drops off and then pulls out, and then the other one can pull right in.
Okay. The last thing I'll just mention is that, and this follows up the remark that Kelly Britt had offered prior to going down and gathering more information. And that is the question of putting daycare centers in residential neighborhoods. And I know you want to question whether or not this really is a residential character to it still. In our case, it obviously is because of the examination by Building and Housing. And it's just something that you're right, the state handles the licensing, but the city has put in the ordinances because they want to try to control the distribution of daycare in a way that doesn't impact negatively in any way, shape, or form the residential neighborhoods that they're in. So that's why you got a point there that you're supposed to be so many feet from the nearest resident, etc. I just thought I'd point that out. That this board has been pretty strict in terms of trying to accommodate that goal for the city of Cleveland.
Let's hear from Adam.
We also have the councilman and Chad Dasher from the local CDC.
Okay. Okay, I'll do Adam first.
Thank you. I think I'd like to kind of reiterate what Kelly was talking about earlier with the amount of kids in the small house. I know the state does regulate the maximum amount of persons that could be in the house. Maybe that's kind of a first step, because looking at other daycares around the city, especially some new ones in West Park, I think the amount of space per kid in the interior is about, I think it's 60 square feet, and so this looks smaller than what would fit 12, and I guess including the basement, in my opinion, that doesn't seem to be very lit or kind of open is probably, I don't know, is maybe not the best idea in my opinion either. Locating it in this part of the neighborhood, I think, could go either way, kind of traffic wise. I kind of see the synergy that Paul is talking about with the other services, but it's a single family house, in a multi-family district, and doesn't have particularly great access, I guess, in that respect. So, I don't know. I kind of leave those comments at that.
Thank you. But now let's hear from the councilman. Good morning, Councilman Case.
Okay, I prefer to let Chad go first so I can finish off.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't write Chad's name down. Ed?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Some of the concerns I have is the same one that Adam Davenport just shared, is the size of the place. Another big concern I have is the drop off and pickup times. This being an access to the freeway, during your ideal drop off and pickup times, this is a pretty busy intersection here. And with not a whole lot of parking involved, I think this could cause some traffic issues here. And the third point I'd really like to make too, if starting a daycare is something that the appellant desires, there's no shortage of property around here, commercial spaces that wouldn't require these variances, that wouldn't cause these traffic issues, we wouldn't be questioning the space requirement. So those are the 3 points I wanted to make. And if that's something they desire, that's something commercial space, that's something I can help them look for.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councilman, you're up.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I mean, I really struggled with this. The house he has is in good condition, and there was a fire there a number of years ago. The house is nice. I struggle, but I can't get over the fact. I know, that this is part of it. Is that this is a colonial, 660 feet per floor, right? So it's a 1,320 foot according to the orders page. So it's a small house, single family. There's only one bathroom in it, and upstairs. And so you can have 10 to 12 kids, and and within the codes within Cleveland, there's a preference not to have kids in a basement. Now you can overcome that, but it starts out saying they don't want kids in a basement. And so, and then they also require a separate bathroom for the boys and the girls. So you're required to have at least 2 bathrooms. There's only 1 bathroom in this house. And even if he put one in the basement, I asked him where the second bathroom, so the kids would be directed to the second floor to use the bathroom. So this commingling of shared bathrooms and shared kitchens and having kids in a basement, it just makes me uncomfortable, and I can't support it.
Thank you, Councilman. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have my hand up. I have 2 bathrooms. There's actually a bathroom in the basement. I was gonna say, because if the number of, like, as far as the space, I know most of the concern is the size of the house and the space for the children. And like you guys mentioned, and even Paul mentioned, that'll be kind of like determined by the state. So if the state, if they allow it, or if they say, oh, you can have this many kids, then would there be an issue then, or? I'm just having a hard time understanding, as far as, you guys are saying it's small and it's not enough space, but if the state allows it, which the only issue with this right now with the daycare is the fact that, the 15 feet between me and the house that's adjacent to mine's. Besides that, I think the only other issue is, you guys are saying, is space as far as the number of children. But if the state is that, then what would be the issue then?
Madam Chair, to the appellant, have you thought about doing a type B, because then you probably wouldn't even have.
No, I haven't thought about doing type B. So this is you know, me and my wife. So, and she wants to do a type A if she can. And I know somebody, I forgot who it was, mentioned doing commercial, but you know, we don't have the money for that. And we was just thinking, you know, if we can just, you know, like renovate our basement and, you know, use our house as an in-home daycare, which we, you know, we feel like we can, you know, and I feel like this, like Paul mentioned, this would be community area that's surrounding our house or our area. I have a 2-year-old son myself, and he's been going to daycare since he was born. And I feel like if we can do the in-home daycare, and because like as far as I know right now, most of the people that I've been speaking to and that are ready to kind of like bring their children to my in-home daycare, it's mostly people that I know and just most family members. So, and I feel like this would help them a lot as well too, because they would feel like their children is being held, you know, by a family member in a sense, and they'll be more comfortable with that as well. So yeah, I would really just, I would really, me and my wife would really like to do this, and I hope you guys would, because mostly it looks like everybody is on the other side of it. So I hope you guys would change your mind and, in a sense, kind of, if the city, if the state says, oh, you can't have this many kids in this small house, or if the space is not big enough, then, you know, okay, then I mean, I can't really do anything about it because I'm getting the licensing through them.
Yes.
But you're getting the permit from the city of Cleveland to do it.
Right. Yes.
Okay. But my biggest concern is the entrance and exit off of I-90. And you're going to have people backing out onto the street after they drop their kid off, children off, and it's a nightmare on that street. I've been up and down it 1,000,000 times in my life.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get what you mean, and you know, I've lived here for almost 4 years now, so I know what you mean. And the other alternative I was thinking of doing, as far as drop off and pick up, is because mainly there's as far as parking for the bank goes, there's an area that's used for the bank, and then there's another area. You can go back to the site plan.
Well, I know that, but you'd have to pay the bank to use that.
Yeah, you can't volunteer someone else's land for your business.
Yeah.
No. I wouldn't be doing that. So that area, right? Man, I can't really point or anything like that. But as you guys can see, there's a parking right for the bank right there. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parking spots. That's for the bank. And then there's another area right there that's not used by the bank, or that isn't used by anybody. And I was.
But it's the bank. The bank owns it, which means you just can't use it for your business.
Right. No, and it's not even that. Like I literally, I have if you guys can go back to the first picture that was on the slide, that red car that's parked at the bank is my car. And I parked there, that red car that's parked at the bank, that's my car. I park there like every day. And I haven't had an issue with that. And I park there, whether it's morning, afternoon, weekend.
You probably shouldn't say that out loud. So
really
leave that off.
Madam Chair, Ms. Kukla has her hand raised.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I would just like to advise the appellant that he does have the ability to withdraw his case, as if this were denied, it could reflect negatively on acquiring his license through the state. Just wanted to let him know that this is, that he has the right to withdraw the case if he needed to.
Yes. I mean, I would recommend that, and then just talk to your wife about doing a type B, and then you don't even have to see it. I think type B, you get up to 8. So if you weren't even really trying to go to 12, you can get up to 8 kids with a type B, if I remember correctly. But I agree with Ms. Kukla that drawing is probably your best bet, so you don't have anything in the file per se on that address.
Madam Chair, Alana has her hand raised as well.
Go ahead. Who was at their hand raised?
Miss Faith, Alana?
Oh, yeah, we can't see her. Miss Faith, did you have your hand up?
We're not hearing you.
Sorry, Sorry, I'm having to toggle back and forth between the app and the phone today. So I just want to, I'm in agreement with what Ms. Britt just said. I think it's more important for the appellant to have a proof of concept, and since he has not had previous daycares, I totally agree that it would be better for him to go with the type B, to not have a ruling reflect on his history of the property from us, because I don't think we'd be inclined to approve it today. And I think if he wants to work with the bank on the parking, that he should get a written agreement with them in order to be able to use their parking area, their land for the parking. I'm totally in agreement with Mr. Dasher on the fact that drop off and pickup, which would likely be cars not pulling into the driveway or backing out, but would probably be pulling up and just sort of double parking on the street, that would be a real problem on West 98 there. So I'm in agreement that I believe that the appellant should withdraw right now and reassess his goals.
Madam Chair, this is Lori Wagner. Could I speak briefly? I believe that the type B daycare limit might be only 6 children. I just don't want to have.
Yeah, it is. It's 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I have to say.
For the correction, Lori. Do you understand what the board is telling you, Mr. Muhammad?
Yeah, I understand, and I've done my research on the 2 different types. Type B is 6, which isn't necessarily like what we're looking for. We're looking for probably up to like 10, 9, children, which falls into the type A. And as far as I think it was Mrs. Faith that was just speaking. As far as getting if I get an agreement from the bank saying they'll let me use the the parking for drop off and pickup, would that change things? Because I really would like to do the type A, and I think if I would like to get the permit from the city. If I get denied by the state, then obviously that ends the conversation right there.
You can't get to the state unless you have the city. You've got them in reverse order. You're thinking the state has more power than the city on this. There's a reason the city council put that language in the zoning code here. And the objections for your particular case are more city bound than state bound right now.
Right. No, I'm not getting that confused. I totally understand.
And I hate to say this, but, lacking the experiences of running the smaller group, so you could work out all the kinks, to me would make more sense. And then maybe when you get through that another year or so, maybe you could come back with a lease agreement with the bank for their parking, using part of their parking lot now. But all of a sudden to jump in with all those kids, I don't know.
No, my wife and her sister, who is actually getting a bachelor's degree in education, and she's currently working at a daycare. They have a lot of experience as far as if you were talking about just actually handling the kids. I don't know if that's what she was referring to, but yeah, I think I have a great plan here. I just think kind of the city is not agreeing with it, I guess.
Yeah, you want us to move in on a lot of things, and it's just very difficult. If we start doing it for one, we're going to be swamped with 1,000 other people who want to do this. So unless you want to withdraw, which was the sensible thing, because then it won't leave you with a bad record, and maybe something would expire in the next year or so that you could come back to us and all. But right now, I don't see it passing myself.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
This is Alana.
Okay.
To the appellant, we've had testimony from both Mr. Dasher, who is with the Westtown CDC, the Community Development Corporation for the area, and we've also had testimony from Councilman Mooney that neither of them are in full support of this project. And we weigh that in our decision as the board, in addition to the testimony of the appellant as well. But I think it would behoove the appellant to meet with Mr. Dasher and work with them on getting support for the project. Once again, I think it would be to the appellant's benefit for us not to judge on this today, and to, again, start with a type B, get proof of concept, work with the Community Development Corporation and the city council person, so that he has their support moving forward, to perhaps expand the business in future, to address the parking and drop-off issues. We always like to see a more cooperative participation between all parties when we do these sorts of things. So I think that would be to the appellant's benefit. Thank you.
Can I respond to that real quick?
Madam Chair, this is Lori Wagner. Can I make a comment before the appellant responds?
Okay, we'll go to Mr. Muhammad next. Okay. Go ahead, Lori.
What the board is telling you is that if you apply today and are turned down, that you will not be able to apply again for this property. Whereas if you withdraw, you could meet with these other people and see if you can get their support and you could submit a new application. That's a legal doctrine there that once you're turned down, that's it. So that's the background of what they're telling you. I mean, it's your decision to make, but that's why they're saying that.
Okay. Yeah. So I would respond to both statements by Mrs. Wagner and Faith. So I've tried everything in my power as far as trying to get like support, especially from Councilman Bryan. I've tried everything in my power. About a month ago, I contacted him. That's when I heard about the date for my hearing, and I told him my plans. I actually left him a voicemail, and he got back to me. And then I told him my plans through the phone, and then he told me, okay, send me an email of your plans, and then I'll think about it. I sent him an email of my plans, and then a week later, when I got the actual date for the hearing, I also sent him that. When I sent that to him, it was a week that had passed by. I haven't heard nothing from him. And then I would call him like literally one day, and then 2 days later, and I would hear nothing from him. I've tried everything in my power to get support and even try to explain in detail more of what I'm trying to do. And then last week I call him, and he picked up. And then when I call him and I leave a voicemail, I would never receive a call back. Last week I called him, he picked up. And when he picked up, like, first, I couldn't even get a word in. He was just saying, "Oh, I received everything. Kind of just rushed me throughout. Rushed me off the phone, and literally that phone call did not last more than 45 seconds, and then hung up on me. And then I called back, and just to address him as far as like how he treated me, and just how the phone call went, because I couldn't even get a word in. And honestly, in all honesty, I was just calling him to see if he came up with a decision, whether he was going to support it or not, because my hearing was coming up. And then I just wanted to know whether I should push that back to give him more time to review it, or, whatever it was that he wanted to do. That's all I was trying to find out. And then I called him back, and he literally just went off on me saying, "Oh, he's not supporting it no more," just because I called him back, and I was just trying to address him like, "Hey, like, why were you kind of rude to me?" But
we're not here to discuss Councilman.
Right. I just wanted to show that I've tried everything to get support, and I'm okay with being turned down as far as like you supporting whatever it is that I'm proposing. But just in a matter of that I just wanted to state that. And then second, as far as I know you guys are saying do type B, and then after you get some experience, get back to us. Which I understand that, but my only question is, because at first, you guys kind of, the issue was, oh, the house is too small for this amount of kids, and then it was a drop off and pick off, and then the issue with the bank, and I don't know. I feel like in a year or even a couple, like 9 months or 10 months, let's say I do the type A, what would change for me to be able to get approved from the board for the type, if I do the type B, what would change for me to get approved for type A? If the issues you guys are mentioning, I think, I don't know. I'm kind of confused as what's the exact main reason that I'm being denied. Whether is it the space, the park, the drop off pick off,
The basement, the no 2 bathrooms, one for a boy, one for a girl on each floor. You can't expect toddlers to go from one floor to the next to use a bathroom. That's unacceptable.
Madam
No,
Chair,
I
we have
mentioned
Councilman Bernie as well.
I have 2 bathrooms.
But not on the same floor.
I have one in the basement, and it doesn't necessarily.
So the girls would have to go to the basement, or the boys would have to go to the basement, and the girls could use the upstairs one, right? Because they're supposed to be together. See, that's the thing. There's so many little things that you're very smart if you would withdraw so that we don't hold this against you in the future.
Right. No, I just want to get a clear sense of, exactly why I'm being denied. Because I'm holding toddlers in preschool. I don't think the toddlers would be using the bathroom.
The 1, 3, 4, 5, they usually know how to use a bathroom.
Sir, if I could just interject one thing here. We have daycare proposals such as yours often. I would say to you that as a rule, we have denied 90-some% of those proposed daycare centers in neighborhood residential areas. That is one of the strictest zoning decisions we make here. And it's made because the city council wrote it in there, and, they're worried about the integrity of the residential character of the neighborhoods of the city of Cleveland. So you're right to be, to ask, will this work or not? We can't tell you. But we have told you all the things that aren't working. And in the end, when you start to try to address all of those, you might say, it'd be easier to go find the place that works.
Madam Chair, we do have Councilman Mooney with his hand raised again.
Thank you, Councilman.
You're muted, sir.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. I know you urged him to talk to Chad Dasher and myself, and I have talked to him, and I think the point is I'm not going to be changed. And he is a very polite gentleman. He is, I think he's intelligent. Like I said, he keeps his house in good condition. And I'll admit, I'm not going to get into it. I was rude to him. I just quit smoking after 35 years, sir, when you called me, and I was trying to not talk to anybody. You were calling my home, and because I was snapping at everybody. That's what happened. I was trying not to talk to anybody because I just quit smoking after 35 years, and so I was trying not to be on the phone, and you kept calling my home cell phone. So you're absolutely right, but and I apologize for that. But that has nothing to do with this. I struggle with it because I know this is a nice home. I know there was a fire. I know you're a young man and you have some good ideas. And I struggle with the main thing. I don't like these 10, 12-person daycares in general in residential neighborhoods. So talking to me and Chad Dasher, we're never going to change our mind about this, probably almost never, to agree to go along with this. Now, there's a lot of daycares in the ward, and there's a lot opening now right around the corner from you. So there's plenty of daycares. There's no lack of them. Nor is there lack for one to come in right all in this area. It's hard to support it right here in your home, right in a residential neighborhood with so many kids. And then even though it's not the reason, but it bothers me that you having a bathroom in the basement, which I don't even, I don't need to get into that because those are really the reason is because of the 15 feet, and that's the reason. And I just can't support it. So I know they want you to talk to us more about it. It's not going to change my mind. Keep coming back, talking about the same concept at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Does the board have any other comments?
No, I was going to say, Madam Chair, I think we belabored this long enough. So it's really up to the appellant right now, sir, if you want to withdraw and keep your address clear for now, or if you just want to go ahead with the ruling. But that's your decision.
Thanks, Ms. Britt.
Oh, go ahead.
Mr.
No, that was it. Go ahead if you want to make your decision.
Yeah. I mean, I already know I'm going to be denied, so it'd just be smart of me to withdraw. But I still feel confused as to why. I mean, I said I would reach out to the bank to see if I can get an agreement on drop off and pick off. I mean, everything you guys brought up, I kind of gave you guys in detail of what, how things would be for the daycare. But at the end of the day, I'm still being denied. And I understand what Councilman Bryan said as far as there's daycares around the area. But at the same time, I mean, people, I don't think that means anything as far as like, if you're trying to open up something, you just don't do it just because somebody else has a daycare open. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I understand what you guys are saying. I just don't get it because drop off, pick off. I provided a possible solution. And as far as spacing in the house, I said, okay, well, I want this amount of kids, but if the state denies me, because at the end of the day, they decide as far as like the area and, if this area is going to be, kind of feasible for this amount of kids, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm going to withdraw, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Without objection, board?
Kelly, without objection.
I need a roll call on the withdrawal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Donovan.
Tim?
You're muted, Tim.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Britt?
Without objection.
Ms. Barnes? I believe I heard her.
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Without objection.
Ms. Johnson?
Without objection, yes.
Calendar 20-199 is withdrawn.
Okay. And the last case is calendar 20-168, 3312 Broadview Road.
Broadview.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This case was postponed from November 30th, 2020. This is calendar number 20-168 at 3312 Broadview Road. Anthony Duval, owner, proposes to establish use as a lounge and party event center in a C2 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record.
Thank you very much.
Everyone for this case, please raise your right hand. I'm making a statement at the end of which I'm looking for a reply that says I do with your name. Here we go. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do, Tony Francatelli.
I do, Anthony Duval.
I do, Lucas Reeve.
Anyone else? So be it.
Okay, history of the property, please. Have we had it before?
No, we haven't had any testimony on this.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was originally semi-industry in 1929. In 1963, it was changed to general retail business. And in 1991, it was changed to local retail business. There are 2 variances on file for this address. In 75-233, a variance was granted to expand restaurant and bar with rear building addition, subject to parking for 12 spaces on leased space at rear, provided the parking spaces be code conforming, and also the use of the adjacent property to provide for parking. And that address of the adjacent property was 3011 Henninger. The other variance, Madam Chair, is calendar 19-37. That was last year. It was granted with conditions to establish use as a restaurant. The conditions were that the operation will be from 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. And that this approval grants relief from sections 349-04 and 359-01A, which allows the establishment of the use without any off-street parking, and that the gravel portion of the lot is not permitted to be used as parking at that time. And then, Madam Chair, there was a certificate of disclosure issued in 2018 stating that the legal authorized use of the property is as 2 dwelling units and 2 stores. And then in October of last year, we see that a permit was issued to establish that use as a restaurant. And I think that's all that's relevant, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Yielding to the Law Department, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variances from the distance and off-street parking regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you very much. Who's going to be the spokesperson? Anthony, are you?
Yes, Madam Chair, I will, yes.
Okay, tell us exactly what you'd like to do.
Well, Madam Chair, my business partner and I purchased the property back in July of 2019. We did realize that the place was an old bar, nightclub at one point. We wanted to come in and bring our brand of change into the neighborhood, into the community. So therefore, we established a cigar cocktail lounge, if you will, to go into that location, that place. This is an upscale cigar bar, so it should change the dynamics of that neighborhood from what it was generally in the past. From my understanding, in the past, this place was known as a nuisance in the neighborhood. So our first thing when we purchased the building was to work lockstep with the old Brooklyn Development Council, the councilman there, Councilman Bracatelli as well, just again to change the entire vibe of that building, that location. We do have KC Catering Restaurant Service up and running in that location right now. They're doing very well. And as a supplement to his catering service, we would like to add the cigar lounge right next door as well. I know parking was an issue, so we have done some things to try to mitigate that parking issue. We're going to utilize the rear of this building as parking, and we've also have purchased an adjacent lot to our property as well to kind of offset the parking issue.
Okay, so the plan that I'm looking at is the existing building, and are you putting in all this new landscaping that's shown?
No, ma'am. That was just a site plan that was purchased from a third party who was able to.
Okay.
Yes. But the rear of this building, there is adequate space in the rear of the building, which we do plan to gravel out to create that parking, that additional parking. And as I mentioned, there is a lot, a parcel 009-10-043. That was a vacant land of the city. We've actually purchased that lot as well. So we can gravel out that portion of the lot as well So which should give us the adequate enough spacing and parking based on the square footage of the occupancy that we're looking for.
So you now own the lot,
I do own the lot. Yes, ma'am, I do.
and is it paved and drained?
No, we have not gotten to that point yet. Again, we're looking for occupancy first. Well, I guess during this process, once we can establish occupancy, we can continue moving forward with the project. We hadn't gotten to that point yet because we were stopped by the city in obtaining the occupancy permit. So that kind of put all of our building plans on hold. Once we're able to get the blessing from the city of Cleveland, we can continue with the process of grading out the parking lot and going through all the processes that are needed to get that parking space needed for the building.
Maurice, can you go back to the plan so I can see the.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. No, not that one. The one
The
where.
inside, the interior plan?
Yes, thank you. So you have to walk through the area where the catering and kitchen is, right, in order to get to the cigar?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's a very good question. These are two separate sides of the building. There is a way to get from one to the other. That is correct. But there's a door that you can actually go.
Oh, the red. Okay.
But these
I
are
see it now.
Yeah, two separate stores.
Okay. I gotta make it bigger though so I can read it. Okay. All right.
Are the two, is the catering service a separate business from the cigar bar?
Yes, it is. It's a standalone separate business as of now. Yes.
I think there's rules that go along with smoking and food and drink. Is there not?
Yes, there are, and I am very versed with the Ohio Revised Code 3794. So therefore, the smoking, there is a patio being erected in the rear of our building. That's where the smoking would take place. So according to Ohio Revised Code 3794, we can't because of that. So therefore, the smoking is on the outside of the building. There is a patio that's being constructed, and so that would eliminate any type of smoke coming into the kitchen area or anything of that nature.
What are your hours proposed?
We are, because this is I call it a high-end cigar lounge. We are only looking to operate 3 or 4 days a week, and those hours are going to run from 2 in the afternoon till about 10, 11 o'clock at night. Well, of course, in the COVID season, we will have to apply to any state regulations. But outside of a COVID season, we don't plan to go any further than 11 o'clock.
And you mentioned you had other franchises or other operations. Where are those?
Right now, our business is run under Monfer LLC. We don't have another standing brick and mortar. However, we do have a transportation side of our business where we're a small van fleet. We have a small fleet of vans and trucks that we do commercial delivery services for. So those are the only two entities that we operate under Monfer.
So you do not have any established cigar bars?
No, sir, we do not.
Who else was there besides Councilman Brancatelli? I missed somebody, I think. Yes, I see the gentleman on the picture, but I don't know who he is.
Yes. Looks like Lucas Reeve.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, good morning. My name is Lucas Reeve. I am here representing the Old Brooklyn Community Development Corporation. And I'm sure that Councilman Brancatelli has a few notes as well, but I did want to share with this morning that we've spent a significant amount of time with Mr. Duval into this early on in the
breaking up.
You're breaking up. We can't.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay, hopefully that works. We have had engaged early on in the new year with Mr. Duval, working through his business plan, helping him to navigate through the various applications and so on. He's made a significant investment into Old Brooklyn, acquiring a building that is in desperate need of some upgrades. He's been a tremendous landlord to KCC Catering, providing a level of support throughout the pandemic that most landlords have not. And so We thank him for those efforts. And I think we're in support of the project. We think that it's a good use for the neighborhood. We believe in the business plan that they brought forward, and would like to see some additional improvements made to the exterior of the building. And Mr. Duval had agreed as well to be a part of the storefront renovation project to help push those improvements forward.
Will they have a presence off of Broadview? Will you enter the cigar bar off of Broadview, or do you have to go back?
No, there is a front entrance. So the entrance, the main entrance into the establishment is off of Broadview. That is correct.
Okay. So it made it sound like it's in the very rear of the building.
No, not at all. We literally, that is the main entrance right off of Broadview. So front door access.
But the customers for the cigar bar ultimately are going to find their way outside at the rear of the building, or no?
Yes, and for those who are taking part in the cigar, yes. So there is our rear egress to the building, which will lead out to the patio in the rear of the building. So those who do partake in cigar smoking, they'll simply use the rear egress of the building. They'll outside of the patio area. They'll consume their cigars there, and then they'll can come right back through that rear door, which leads right back into the establishment of the place.
Yes, these are two separate buildings in one, and so they're one entrance for the cigar bar and one entrance for the catering. I think people are getting confused, thinking that you have to go through one to get to the other. Is that correct, Mr. Duval?
That is correct. The catering place has its own front and rear.
Yeah, I got you. I just wanted to make sure the board was clear on that. Thank you.
So in the picture, it's Sticks and Stones Social Lounge is the entrance for the cigar bar, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Oh.
And then the KC Barbecue is on the right-hand side, which we approved actually just recently.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand Sticks and Stones, but okay.
We still have Councilman Brancatelli.
Yes, good luck for him.
And we did have
Chair,
one
a
opposition matter.
stick is a cigar.
Councilman Brancatelli, join us.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the board. And I certainly want to thank Lucas and the team over at Old Brooklyn, working closely with Anthony. Anthony was a little shy, did not give his past history, and one of our fine military and upstanding citizen who's been a great advocate in our community, and we're glad that he's here. And as Lucas pointed out, working with Kelly's Catering next door, not Kevin Kelly. Kevin Kelly, I don't think can cook. But Kelly's Catering, who does great barbecue and chicken and fish. And if you don't want to cook through the holidays, he's the guy to go to. They got great food there. So thank him for working with them. But yeah, back to the business. I think the game plan that he's lined out with, mapped out with Lucas and the folks, and going through the storefront program, making the improvements in the front, and then doing the cigars in the back. And then doing the renovations as Broadview Sports Bar was shut down, which had a horrible checkered past. Having Anthony come in and take this place over and turn it into a first-class cigar bar is just a great improvement, and we're looking forward to the improvement. I'm looking forward to him having affordable cigars for us public servants, like an Arturo Fuente or something that we can afford. What they've laid out for this plan and the parking that he's added is a significant improvement, and fully support this proposal today.
Madam Chair, can I ask where is the parking going to be located? You said you purchased a parcel. I'm just curious which one it was.
Yes, there's a parcel. Our actual parcel where this building stands is parcel 009-10-048. There is an adjacent parcel that's right next door to the building. To the right and toward the rear. And there's a couple of empty spaces in this area. And there you go.
Can you see that?
Yeah. And there's an empty parcel there, 009-10-043. So that parcel was purchased, and we'll use that one as well as the rest of our parcel in the rear of the building. to put our parking in.
So how will you access the parking? Because from what I'm seeing here on this site plan or on this aerial, 0049 is owned by the gentleman, I think, that owns the bike shop.
Yes, it's actually 0043.
Okay, according to this aerial, maybe they have it wrong. I don't know, but
Yes,
Yeah, that aerial has 4-3 is directly
it's your
behind the
property.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if in the bicycle shop, my neighbor Chris, there is an actual pathway right on the side of his building. Apparently, these old parcels used to be residential, from my understanding, at some point. So there is an access road to drive back there, and that's how individuals will off of Broadview will be able to access that parking, is using the drive-through. I also have a drive-through on our property of 048. Excuse me. There is another apron, if you will, to drive back. So there are two different entities where you can drive through that parcel to get to the rear of the building.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that clears that up.
Any other questions, Board? When I look at this, bottom of the right-hand corner, is that where the patio is going to be?
No.
That's the side of the building. The patio is going to be in the behind the building.
Yeah,
yes.
It's the picture. If I have the right picture showing right now, it's the one in the upper right where the white with the vertical windows. I believe that's the rear of the building. So the patio will be constructed off the back of that.
Gotcha. Okay, I got it. But no one's going to tell me what sticks and stones means. Okay.
Madam Chair, I told you a stick is a name for a cigar.
Thank you, darling. Okay, any other questions, Board? I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, given the testimony and support from the area's Community Development Corporation as well as Councilman Brancatelli, I move that we approve the variances as requested for calendar number 20-168.
Second.
Call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Calendar 20-168 is granted. We will ratify this on January 4th and send you a letter.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
you. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Okay. Old business 1 through 4 without objection.
Without objection.
Without objection.
Kelly, without objection.
Thank you. Okay. And Liz, Colburn Avenue contacted you?
Yeah, they said that that they didn't realize that they had that they still needed something. So I had to reiterate the conditions to them. They're the only ones that responded to our written letters, by the way. And they said that they would need 1 or 2 weeks. So I'll keep up on that. They're working on getting this stuff into us.
Okay. And thank you for the total number of cases. Everybody saw that. It was 324 last year and 205 this year because of the COVID.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were 2 or 3 months down.
Oh, really 3 by the time we got up and moving.
Yeah, was it June or July, Maurice, when we started back?
I believe it was June, right in June, the beginning of June. I think we had our first meeting.
And we stopped in March.
Correct.
Mid-March, yeah.
So actually, I can tell you right now, I have
3
June
months.
8th as the first meeting that we met.
Wow.
It's about 1/4.
Okay, can I just ask of my charming board members who have been very cooperative and have really kind of helped me through this business, I would appreciate if you could all check in a little bit earlier so that when we start punctually at 9:30, everybody's got everything working, picture, phone, whatever they need to have.
Well, Alana had
Sure.
lost power this morning, so that's why.
Oh, yeah, well, I got, yeah, you know, we're gonna have those excuses.
I also found out that Shannon had no internet this morning, so, you know,
It was legitimate, okay.
stuff happens.
My homework ate my dog.
You what?
Yeah.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you. Same to you, Marlene.
Marlene.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Stay well, stay safe, and we'll see you next year.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Everybody have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Okie dokie. Bye-bye.
Cheryl,
Yes.
I am happy to inform you that my power is back on, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, the neighborhood went out. So.
Oh.
Hey, as an Irishman, we're tasked with always providing people nicknames after you get to know them for a while. And I'm just struck by a nickname for Marlene that would be Alvin, of Alvin and the Chipmunks. Because it seems like every time we call the roll vote here, it reminds me of an Alvin skit. Alvin!
That's a good one.
Right. Happy holidays.
Thank you, darling. You too. Stay
Holidays.
well, everybody, please. Thank you.
Happy winter solstice, everyone, and have a great holiday.
Yes,
And-
shortest day of the year. Yeah.
We're not going to be able to see that. It's going to be too cloudy tonight to see the conjunction of those
Oh,
planets.
the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that. Yeah.
It's supposed to be like the big Christmas star from hundreds of years ago.
Yes.
But of course, you know, Cleveland and cloudy in the winter, that's all we ever have.
Yeah.
Right, right.
All right. Well, stay well.
Someone will probably post it on YouTube so we